Hello student. In this PowerPoint presentation, here we will discuss about the experiment of B Pharmacy 6th semester, that is rapid pyrogen testing. So in this experiment, we will cover the various part of the experiment. Like we will first the requirement for this experiment, and the requirement for this experiment will be a healthy matured rabbit. Reagent, we will use 0.9% of sodium chloride injection as a diluent. The purpose of 0.9% sodium chloride, as sodium chloride does not affect the temperature, so sodium chloride is used as a diluent here. Instrument, we will use all the pyrogen free syringe, needle, glassware and clinical thermometer. Now, so in this experiment, the student must know what is pyrogen. Pyrogen are fever producing substances which are metabolic product of microorganism, or you can say, if we talk about chemically, they are lipid substances associated with the carrier molecule, which is usually a polysaccharide. So actually the pyrogens can be produced by many microorganisms, including bacteria, yeast, molds, as here it is represented in the diagram. And most potent pyrogen are the endotoxin produced by the cell wall of gram-negative bacteria. Even we should know a test, that is LAL. LAL test is also used to check out the presence of pyrogen in the pharmaceutical parenteral products. So this information that the student must know. And after that, coming to the procedure of this experiment, first we will select the rabbit. First we should know what kind of rabbit we can carry out our experiment. So for this purpose, for selection of animal, first we should take like a few rabbits. In that rabbit, the particular they should be healthy, matured, and their temperature must be they are individually maintain the room temperature up to 20-23 degrees Celsius. And all the equipment used in this experiment must be sterilized, and the thermometer we should use must have the the deviation of plus minus 0.1 degrees Celsius only. So if for this total procedure of this experiment is divided into two steps. Step first, in the first step we will perform the preliminary testing called SAM test. What is the purpose of preliminary testing or the SAM test? The purpose of preliminary or SAM test is that to find out the suitable animal for the purpose for carrying out the main test. And here we are going for the preliminary test. So preliminary test will show what are the rabbits that are actually will go in the main test. So this is the selection procedure of the rabbits. So selection procedure is based on that. We will select 3 rabbit here that will be already fasted, but water should be free access of water will be there during the test or before the test. And the time the rabbit must be acclimatized. The rabbit must be acclimatized for the particular environment, or we should be very careful about whatever the rabbit you are taking for this experiment that have not been used in last 2 previous experiment. That is the main part of this preliminary testing. वो एनिमल्स पिछले 2 वीक में किसी भी एक्सपेरिमेंट में यूज नहीं हुए हों. Now we will acclimatize for 1 to 3 degrees Celsius. Now what we will do, first we will take the initial temperature, right? First we will take the initial temperature, and then after we will inject the sterile, that will be pyrogen free sample, and the dose will be 10 ml per kg. And we will, from after injecting the sterile pyrogen free sterile injection solution, we will note down the reading for 3 hours. In every 30 minutes, in each 30 minute of gap, we will note down the temperature variation up to 3 hours. So by looking at the observation, you will be more clear about that. So for this purpose, we are with this method, we will perform our preliminary or SAM test. In the second procedure, let's suppose we have selected 3 animal based on the preliminary or SAM test. Now that particular 3 animal that come out from the preliminary test, we will put in the main test. In this main test, we will check out the initial temperature, and we will dilute the pyrogen solution not here I am talking about the pyrogen free solution, that is sodium chloride. We will dilute the solution with sodium chloride, and that solution we are going to check whether it is pyrogen free or pyrogen is present there. So this this solution we will dilute from the NaCl. Now we will inject from the marginal ear vein, and the dose should not be less than 0.5 ml kg and more than 10 ml per kg of body mass. And we will same way we will determine the temperature or record the temperature up to 3 hours in each 30 minutes. So by looking at the observation, you will be more clear about this experiment. Like this is the reading of preliminary test. In the preliminary test, what we are doing, we are taking 3 animals, and what we have passed 3 animals, right? हमने यहाँ पे 3 एनिमल जो हमारे सूट किए हैं, लाइक हम कितने भी रैबिट ले, 7 ले, 5, 6, 8, लेकिन यहाँ पे जो हम दिखा रहे हैं इस दिस ऑब्जर्वेशन, वी आर सेइंग दैट कि ओनली 3 एनिमल हैव पास्ड आउट दिस एक्सपेरिमेंट. एज द इनिशियल बॉडी टेम्परेचर वी have recorded for first animal it is 38.1, it is 38.2, for 38.1 up to the 3 animal. So after in the overall in the 3 hours, in the initial 30 minutes, then after 60 minutes, 90 minutes, 120 minutes, 150 minutes, 180 minutes, up to the 3 hours. This is the 3 hours duration. In 3 hours duration, in every 30 minutes, we are recording the temperature. And what we are looking at, these are the animal, these are the matured healthy rabbit. They are passed out the preliminary test. That's why I represented here. I recorded the temperature like that. It was initially 38.1. So there is no more temperature variation, only 0.1 or 0.2 deviation from the initial temperature, that is 38.1. In same way, in the second rabbit, the temperature is approximately same or very narrow range of the changes are there. So that is this all reading is approximately the same in all the 3 rabbits. That's why we have selected these 3 rabbits for the next SAM test. In this not SAM test, in the main test. So for the observation table for the main test is that this is the result of pyrogen test. Once we will dilute the that sample with the NaCl, now we will inject that solution in that 3 rabbits that have passed the preliminary test. So for this test, in the first rabbit, after injecting the before injecting the pyrogen, first we will take the first we will check out the initial temperature. The initial temperature will be like that, and after that, after injecting the temperature, let's suppose the first rabbit is getting the value of 39.1, and what we have observed in the initial temperature, it is final at the last of 3 hours, it is 38.2. so what we are going to do, now the temperature is after injecting test sample, it is 39.1. so what we are seeing, it was earlier 38.2 and now here it is 39.1. so there is a gap of 0.9%, 0.9 increase, 0.9 degrees Celsius of increase. In the same way, in second rabbit, it is after injecting the test sample, it is 38.9 degrees Celsius, and here in the second rabbit it is 38.1. we are taking the reading up at the end of 3 hours. So in the same way, we are getting third rabbit reading. So the difference is that here it is 0.9% in 0.9 degrees Celsius increase, 0.8 degrees Celsius increase, and 0.6 degrees Celsius increase. So the rule of the pyrogen testing is that whatever the animal that is after injecting the test sample, if it is showing that the temperature has been increased, individual rabbit has been increased the temperature of 0.6 or more than 0.6 degrees Celsius, then we will say that the solution, that test sample is not a pyrogen free, that must contain pyrogen, because the temperature is increasing from 0.6 that I have mentioned in the here. So for here, as the each rabbit has the temperature increase even from 0.6 is there, even more than 0.6, 0.8 and 0.9 degrees Celsius are also there. That is one thing. And another part, if 3 rabbit total sum of increase is more than 1.4 degrees Celsius, then also it is a test sample, we can conclude that test sample contains pyrogen. So here what we are looking by, after adding these three readings, we are getting 2.3 degrees Celsius increase in temperature. So we can conclude from here both their reading individually and a sum of total increased value indicate that sample is not a pyrogen free. So what we have concluded in this experiment, the interpretation is that test sample considered as pyrogen free if temperature rises less than 0.6 degrees Celsius, but here it is more than 0.6 degrees Celsius. Or the sum of increased temperature response is less than 1.4 degrees Celsius, but here it is 2.3 degrees Celsius. So for three rabbit we can set a limit up to 1.4 डिग्री सेल्सियस हम देखते हैं, तीनों का सम 1.4 से ज्यादा होना चाहिए, और जब कभी हम 8 रैबिट को कंसीडर करते हैं तो वहां पर 3.7 डिग्री सेल्सियस से ज्यादा होना चाहिए, तब हम टेस्ट सैंपल में पायरोजन की प्रेजेंस को मानते हैं। तो जो ये इंटरप्रिटेशन ऑफ रिजल्ट का बेसिस है, इस बेसिस पे हमने कंक्लूड किया कि डिफरेंस इन इनिशियल एंड फाइनल बॉडी टेम्परेचर इन ग्रुप्स that is more than 0.6 degrees Celsius or 1.4 degrees Celsius indicate that sample is not pyrogen free. So the result is, the present study reveals that exposure of test sample resulting raise in the temperature of each animal more than 0.6 degrees Celsius, or for 3 animals sum of increased temperature is 2.3 degrees Celsius indicate test sample is not pyrogen free. And after the last in this experiment, that student must know all the answer of these questions. What is the normal range of rabbit temperature? Write down about LOL test and why we use rabbit in the pyrogen testing. So this is all about that. I have gathered the information from these references. So this is all about the rabbit pyrogen testing. Thank you very much.